What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. We are here for Iron Man Volume 2 by Force of Arms by Stan Lee and Gene Colan, who did almost all of this by themselves together. Almost. This is the Tales of Suspense era. So Iron Man was originally Tales of Suspense before he got his own #1, and it goes 73 through 99, and there is a crossover with Tales to Astonish that gets thrown in there. Iron Man and the Submariner #1, which is just an Iron Man story, but it continues from 99. There's a serial that goes on. Iron Man #1, and then the Not Brand X sort of parody at the end. This one is a short one. It's only about 400 pages, and most of the epics are kind of closer to 500. So it goes real quick. Iron Man is in 12-issue stints at this point, or 12-page stints, I should say. Sorry about that. And he battles various people and has various things going on, but the plots go quick, and because of that, you get these little serial things where Iron Man has his fight. This one, Happy Hogan is dying from actually the volume before, gets this medical procedure and becomes this like Frankenstein monster that he has to stop, and they always stop him on a cliffhanger, and then always come back to do the thing. And of course, Happy goes for Pepper Potts. Happy has not lost his memory in this for a long time. He was the only person who discovered Iron Man's secret identity, and fortunately, he lost his memory. So in this, he's a bad guy for a second until Iron Man figures it out. You do get all the covers, even though some of them are Captain America covers in here and not really Iron Man centric. And Gene Colan does the art here, or I guess Adam Austin. Is Adam Austin a Gene Colan pen name? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. But somebody will know in the comments, I'm sure. But it actually, the art looks the same. So I'm gonna guess this is just a pen name for Gene Colan. I really like the art through this. It's not fancy. We get a Mandarin story. He brings Tony Stark there because with Tony Stark captured, he will deal with his nemesis Iron Man, right? It's one of those. It's very Bond villainy in this, but it's done in such a pure, fun way that it works out. He actually throws Tony Stark out, and Tony Stark has to then go deal with this like giant robot thing. I absolutely love it. But the art is really crisp, and it's just really fun. You get a lot of these like 4-panel pages at this time, and I think that was done for speed. John Romita Jr. or Sr. Did a lot of that in Spider-Man also, where it's just 4 panels a page, and it makes the pace go a lot faster than a lot of the Kirby or Ditko stuff that preceded this. And I think these guys were on such schedules because they were doing multiple books that you get some splash pages periodically in here, that they were really just trying to get these out as fast as they humanly could. And because of that, you get a faster pace of the layouts. Kind of neat. But I love the way Gene Colan draws figures. I think you get this kind of like noirish, realistic vibe to things, and the way that the colors are done through these are just really tasteful and cool, with the different solid colors. It pops for sure. So the main plot through here, of course, we get a Namor fight. Namor's kind of gone wild in the city, and he's kind of being mind controlled here, is what's going on. And this does cross over with the Namor series itself, which is where we're at now. You can tell the art's different from the Namor series. This is the Tales to Astonish crossover. So it's done by... actually Jack Kirby finished it while Gene Colan, I guess, started it. So you can tell it's different than the normal. Jack Kirby's kind of got a different style to it. So it looks like you see all the machinery suddenly, right? Looks like Gene Colan kind of did the layouts, and Kirby might have finished this off, because you do see that Kirby vibe here. Neat stuff. I can't wait for the Submariner epic. But a lot of background stuff's going on. Like the Senate wants to bring in Tony Stark because he's got this Iron Man thing, and they're like, we need to know the identity because this should be a United States secret or whatnot, and they have to deal with that all the time. We get a return of our Russian friends. This is the storyline by Force of Arms where we got, And the Titanium Man here has like revamped himself to be even stronger and even better. And Iron Man barely pulls this one out. This is just classic comic fare. And you get the crowd in the background commenting, like, you know, look up in the sky, you know, type of stuff. And of course, we've got Pepper Potts and Happy Hogan there dealing with that. This was a 4 or 5 issue long arc with the Titanium Man here, and it finally got resolved. But of course, we have Iron Man saving the day, and now he has to testify in front of Congress about this stuff. And Tony Stark, at this point, has a heart condition and gets rushed to the hospital. Now, at this point, Happy Hogan has figured out who Iron Man is and recovered his memories. So what he does is he actually puts on the Iron Man armor himself to deflect from the fact that Tony Stark is in the hospital. And that way people go, oh, I guess Iron Man isn't Tony Stark. And eventually Tony Stark comes out of things. And from this point forward, his heart condition and Iron Man losing power and almost running out of power happens in almost every single issue. it really amps that up to the point where it's like all the time. And we have a Mandarin plot again, where he deals with them. Crisis at the Earth's core. We actually get a, this is a Mole Man storyline. He's a Fantastic Four villain, typically. And Pepper Potts is down there, and Iron Man has to rescue her and bring her back out, which he does, of course. Through this, there's a little tension about, like, Tony Stark really loves Pepper Potts, but he's going on dates with other women to try to deter her and kind of, like, keep his mind off her and get her away. Because he's like, look, I've got a heart condition, I'm going to die at any moment, and I don't want this girl saddled with me. And by the end of it, she does actually get together with Happy Hogan, which has happened a couple times over the course of this. So you got that, like, triangle drama going on, which is really great. And I'm not talking about the art a ton, because Gene Colan is doing almost all of it throughout all of this. And it's so consistent. I really love it. I think it's fantastic. I loved this more than Volume 1. I just think the continuing story worked really well. I like the 12-pagers a lot. Eventually he has to put on his old armor because his new armor gets melted. And he goes out into Vietnam. Oh my gosh. There's like a castle in Vietnam he has to deal with. More Titanium Man out there, and you see his Titanium Man kind of morphs into something new every single time. And there's an evil guy kind of manipulating Titanium Man through the course of all of this here. We get the Stone Gargoyle, who's an Avengers villain. And he comes after Iron Man, trying to keep this fast. He's turned Iron Man to stone, but eventually it wears off. At this point, Jasper Sitwell, sorry, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, has shown up, and he's like hanging out around Iron Man, and he's been placed on Tony Stark to try to protect national secrets and all that. And Sitwell actually is helping Iron Man here over the course of things, and they find out that there's like this AIM plot that's going on, and the AIM is like a major S.H.I.E.L.D. villain. So if you haven't read that, you can read this S.H.I.E.L.D. and Kirby and Stan Lee complete collection, and it kind of goes into that in a little more depth. So pretty neat. We get a new character here, and the Magia is also involved in this. So AIM's coming after this sort of deal, and the Magia is coming after this deal, and they all want Iron Man, and that is what goes on here. So you might recognize this character, Whiplash, who is working for the Magia, and he's beating up Iron Man with his ridiculous whip. And he was in the movie Iron Man 2. And this is kind of his actual first appearance in origin. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D. gets called in eventually as they're on the ship that's sinking. This is really well done. This whole arc is so cool. And Iron Man eventually does get captured. And what happens over the course of this, as we get into the Submariner, Stan Lee is now editing. So Stan Lee has finished writing Iron Man by this point, and Archie Goodwin is finishing off the story. Archie Goodwin uses a little bit more dialogue. I think it runs a little slower. He describes what happened in the issues before. Of course, since you've got a new #1, you probably should figure out, what's going on. There is, I mean, it must have been weird in single issue because they've got next issue with literally the continuation. They just stuck it in a different thing, Iron Man and the Submariner, instead of Tales of Suspense. So this just directly continues from that without any indication that there's going to be a relabel or anything like that. I wonder what happened. Don't know. But Iron Man's trapped at this point. He finally gets out. And now we get Iron Man #1. And this is a full 22-page story, which wraps up the arc that we've just seen. Iron Man is alone against AIM, as you see. And AIM is wanting this ship, and mainly Iron Man. The Maggie is after Iron Man, trying to kill him on the ships. Sitwell is in the middle of all of this, trying to work things out. There's this like femme fatale spy who gets in the middle of this also. I really love this character, Whitney Frost. And she acts like she's on everybody's side, but she's not. And very quickly, AIM is able to replicate a bunch of Iron Men. But of course, they don't understand the Iron Man suit as well as Iron Man, so Iron Man wrecks them pretty good. And this is kind of ridiculous because like they make the Iron Man too fast, and this whole plot really changes too fast for everything to work. But, at the end of the day, Iron Man does explode the AIM facility and get out. It's really Saturday morning cartoon James Bond silly. But I had fun with it anyway. It was well written on the dialogue, and you care about the characters, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So in this first issue, that storyline is still kind of on the short side, but they give a redone origin of Iron Man in a couple pages by Archie Goodwin here. And that's that. You get into the Not Brand Ek, and I've never enjoyed the Not Brand Ek stuff. I don't think it's very funny. So it's for you to read if you feel like it. And a couple extras back here. So this is cool. I enjoyed this. This is classic comics. Even though there are some cheesy, campy parts, I kind of like that in comics, to be honest. I feel like that's a classic part of comics and a good thing. So I still call this like a 10 out of 10. I love Gene Colan's art all the way through. I love all of the sort of serialized stuff that gets developed through this. I love the soap opera content that only Stan Lee could give us. It's really good. I look forward to getting into more Archie Goodwin in the next volume. I think it was a nice handoff and a good transition at the end of the story. So, highly recommend this. It's issue 1, or volume 1 was kind of a hodgepodge. They didn't really have a great direction for the character. It wasn't solidified, I would say. It kind of meandered. But in here, it was all very consistent, and I'm looking forward to more of it. So, 10 out of 10. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. This is great comics, and I think more people should read it. Hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys soon.